Welcome back to the final 4 chapters of The Flight of the Northwest. The Northwest, our titular ship chartered by the company that Will, who is not present, worked for in order to chart a new passage to Kryn space. They set off for fortune and for glory and to have songs written about them. The very troublesome first month and a half, and they finally find themselves on the edge of the astral sea, only to be pursued by a great nebula whale, a leviathan, the likes of which has never been seen before. The captain being killed and devoured. The ship adrift, finally making its repairs and running away from the great beast. A new captain being installed with Captain Lockjaw. Things seem to finally be going okay, and the creation of an astral beacon, this astounding piece of magical and arcane technology that does something that shouldn't be possible. It creates a fixed space in the astral sea, truly a beacon that can be seen not in terms of miles or kilometers, but in terms of days and months. Ruin creating the very first one, powering it through his magical abilities, and unbeknownst to him, powering it to its highest level by giving over one of his memories, a deep and powerful, wonderful memory of his loving and supportive father, erased from his mind. While at the same time, after using an ability that he's used many, many times before, Will tapping into something about who he is as a person, wakes up someone else. Grant's had to deal with this before. It's a very, very vivid dream, and Grant knows that as long as he gets through things and sort of just plays along and doesn't make a lot of trouble, he can finally go back to sleep. And when he wakes up, he'll be back home with his family, and this strange dream will be over. After making an offhanded comment about a beacon seeking into the water and everyone treating him very strangely because they weren't at sea, Grant runs to the deck of the ship to be greeted by an explosion of stars and nebula and colors, creatures, beasts, and wonders, the likes of which he'd never seen, never even knew existed. And we pick up there with Grant on the deck of the ship, looking above him as a pod of space dolphins and a giant space whale sail overhead, who knows how far away, and a screaming asteroid with a face barrels after them. Disappearing from sight, we find Grant standing on the deck of the ship, late into the third watch. No one else on the deck but him. Grant, what's going through your mind, and how do you kind of want to deal with one of the strangest dreams that you've ever had, and you can't seem to get out of it yet, despite having taken a short little nap?
I think I'm going to make a quick wisdom save for Grant.
Sure. I love self-imposed saves. That sounds awesome.
Okay, 16. Um, all right. So coming up on the deck and seeing all of this just spinning around him, uh, Grant's gonna take a seat. Um,
So you just plop
sir,
down on the deck of the ship.
yeah, serve probably right against the railing of the steps, um, and just sort of with one arm on the railing and just to steady himself. And we'll just take a minute to breathe and take this in and make sure that this is really what he's seeing and it's not going away and it's just this is what's here. Um, so after taking a bit to gather himself, uh, he's going to very carefully approach the railing and look
Mhm.
down. What he
Sure.
would
Yeah. So
understand is down.
yeah, you look down, and there's a sense of gravity here that tells you this is down. And as you look down over the side of the ship, you see just an endless starscape like you would see back home on the clearest, darkest of nights. What should be straight above you, straight down.
All right. Uh, is there anyone else? Who else is on deck right now?
At this point, actually, nobody's on deck, and despite the fact that it is night, so it's night because you're in the night sky. The deck is illuminated fairly brightly by this ring of magical plasma that surrounds the ship and seems to be what it is that propels it forward. There are no masts on this, though there are oars that come through from the below decks, and the oars are moving as if that's some part of the propulsion of this ship. You're actually alone on the deck, but after a couple of seconds, you do hear the sound of someone coming up the stairs. You hear the sound of it's a bit off kilter of a sound. You hear sort of a thump clink, thump clink, thump clink, thump clink, thump clink, and you see a young man run up the stairs, and you realize that the clank is at about the mid thigh. His right leg is made out of steel and brass and copper, and he sort of is running out. He's like pulling a shirt on over himself, and as he yeah, we'll actually say he kind of bumps into you, and he says, "Hey, would you watch? Oh, I beg your pardon, sir. Just a quick trip to the head, but
Uh, uh, as you were.
uh, I, and he sort of runs past you, and he goes and you see he runs up a set of stairs. He stands on top of, you think it's called like it's called a deck of some kind from a trip you took on a vacation once, but he
Mhm.
sort of is just standing up above, looking out, watching where the ship is going.
All right. This is this is something else. Okay, Grant's trying really hard not to freak out, and is
Mm-hmm.
able. Is he with that 16? He's holding it together. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but being up here, it's too much. It's too big. Um,
Like
like
almost a weird sense of agoraphobia or vertigo.
yeah, exactly. Like he's been in wide open spaces before. He's sailed on the sea before, but like there's a difference in between sort of looking at the night sky and looking into the astral sea as you're in the middle of it.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, and Grant is used, you're used to spending a lot of your time under, a thick uh pine canopy of the forests that you tend to. So even though you like the night sky, you're used to a lot of a lot of trees up above, almost creating a canopy themselves, a sense of enclosure, even though they reach, hundreds of feet in the air. So sure, yeah. If he wants to head back down.
Yes, yes. More information on Grant. Good. um, yeah. With that, Grant is going to definitely make his way back downstairs. Uh, can I can Grant make an insight check on so he's really only talked to Ruin and Lockridge.
Mm-hmm.
Um
There was the moment in the tinkerer's workshop that you then found as some sort of like engine room or artificer station where someone who has been addressed as the captain and then two
mhm,
other officers, and then you spent a little bit of time talking with Ruin, but those are
mhm.
pretty much the people that you've talked to. Tell you what, do this for me. Make a let me look at something real quick. Make an insight or a history check, whichever one you would rather.
I think that Grant's going to make an insight check specifically to see who he thinks would be cooler about him ranting at his tenuous grasp of things right now between Lockridge and Ruin.
Okay. Let's make that, but before you make that, so let's make two insight checks. That will be the second one what we do. Make an insight check for this first thing, and then I'll tell you how it goes.
Okay.
Mhm. Not bad.
Okay.
Um, okay. So as you get back below deck, and you have a roof over your head, and you can't see this crazy night sky, and you don't have to deal with the fact that I mean, the idea of not being on a planet, like you knew about other planes, but not
Yeah.
being on a planet is something you don't really have the capacity to think about right now.
Nope.
Um, you catch your breath. Um, you let's say you grab a cup of water from the curled up sleeping giant dryad spider woman, and you kind of
Yep.
get a glass of water without waking her up, and you sort of take a second and you think of a few things from the other times that you've had these weird dreams, and
Mhm.
you know that this guy, and you will say with a 19, yeah, with a 19, we're going to say do remember a couple of times this guy being called Will in other dreams. And you know that a few of the times that you've had these dreams that um you've been on a like dock, and you've been in an office that looks out at ships. And if you think really hard about it, you've always just assumed that those dreams were always taking place at night because those ships, there was always stars above them. And so there's a running thread of some of these past dreams. And this has happened maybe 4 or 5 times total that you can remember of these dreams. But it seems to be on track with the other kinds of bizarre dreams you've had. And you get the name. With a 19, I'll give you get the name that this guy, this dream you, has been called Will.
All right.
Okay, so there's that. Now, you're inside. Now, does that, if that changes what you want to do next, go for it. We won't say that that's metagaming, but if not, you can make your insight on um, who you think you might want to go wake up.
Yeah, I think that Grant is feeling absolutely lost and kind of alone and wants to talk to someone, but isn't quite sure who would be the better option. So I was
Sure.
just going to make a insight 18.
18. Okay. Here's how I'll answer that. You when you so when you were all in the room, Ruin pretty clearly like asked if you were feeling okay and then sort of described what he had been working on. And then afterwards, when you went out into the galley, um, like Ruin like sat with you and had a bite to eat and chatted with you for a little while. And he might have come across as a little standoffish or terse, but he
Mm-hmm.
was friendly. Um, the interaction that you had with the other giant hippopotamus person was he essentially said, "Are you okay? What's wrong with you?" And then like dragged you to your bunk and said, "Go to bed until you feel better." So those are your two interactions.
Yeah, I think that Grant is going to go to Ruin in that case.
Okay. Um, so I'm gonna say this because we'll find out what happens. Well, you ran upstairs, and by coming back downstairs, it seems like most folks are asleep. You don't know where Ruin is.
Um, all right. Well, the last person I saw who was awake was the guy with one leg who ran past me. So,
Oh, okay.
sort of trying to give himself tunnel vision as best he can, not looking up or to the side, and just sort of doing the thing like when you're in New York and just looking at the street 10 feet in front of you thing.
Yeah,
Is
the way you're
effectively
supposed to walk through a city. Absolutely, yes.
exactly. Um, is going to go to where he last saw who I know is Vilya, but Grant just knows as that guy with one
That
leg.
that guy with a metal leg. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I will say, just make a charisma saving throw. We're gonna just put it at 10.
Charisma saving throw.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's a failure.
um, you get to the steps, and if anybody's ever done that thing where like after a really hard leg day, or anybody that just like really hates heights and then sees how high they are, you get to the steps, you're doing okay, you're not liking it, you kind of got the flop sweat, you step up on that first step, and then you like take a knee on the second step, and you're not making it up these, but you see this guy who has watched you do that, and he's like coming around and standing at the top of the steps, and he sort of is standing at the top of the steps and says, "Sir, is there something I can help you with?" Or
Yeah. Where can I find Ruin? I I came up and then when I went right back down, I'm not sure where he got to.
I believe I believe he has the watch off. I mean, we're fairly thin these days, so I'm the only other person on, but he should be in the officer's quarters.
Right, and that's second door on the left, was it? Third door on the left?
Uh, the the second the second oh, I used to know the word for a door on a ship is something different. On the starboard side, second. Aye, sir.
Right. Um, thank you. Uh, as you were, turns and heads back to
And you
the.
see him kind of like he takes out like a notebook and like starts kind of writing something in it, shrugging to himself and like puts it back away.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah, you find your quarters. They are while they are small, there are four actual beds, not hammocks. And God, I so desperately canonically want to put Lockridge on a top bunk because that'd be hilarious. But
And like a gnome or like
we'll
a
say that
small, like a halfling or something on the bottom bunk, and there's just this huge bow in the bottom of the bed, and the halfling's just like.
Well, so
that's part of Pig's punishment.
Technically, there are only 3 officers and the captain at this point. So we'll say that there's one of the bunks that has had the top bunk removed, and Lockridge, the large GIF, is sleeping on the bottom bunk, but he would be pressed against the top bunk if it was there. Then there's 2 others, and Ruin is sleeping on the. I don't know. You tell me, Nix. Is he a top bunk or a bottom bunk kind of guy?
Probably a bottom bunk.
Is he a big spoon or a little spoon?
He's on the bottom bunk. Exactly.
And we're switch spoon in this household.
Okay, fair. Answering the real questions.
Spork?
Yes, we're sporking.
That's the OnlyFans Northwest.
Yes.
You find
so
it.
Yeah. Will goes over, assuming Ruin's asleep. Wouldn't know any better. Just puts a hand on Ruin's shoulder and gently shakes.
I swear to any gods that are listening, if something is not currently on fire, you will be.
All right.
Make an intimidation check, please. So he does. That's exactly what he says. But he is half asleep, so fire. You be.
All right. Ruin, I gotta talk to you. Could you come with me to your office or workshop or whatever, where the beacon was?
Yeah, sure. I'll do that. Like groggy, sit up. Whack my head on the bottom or top bunk.
Of course.
Just make my way to the workshop. Oh, hold on, pants. Hold on. Put on pants. All right. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Just do that sleepy pinball thing where you just kind of like feel your way with your eyes closed and walk in the direction of where I'm supposed to be going.
All right, nice. Yeah, can you both make you guys are you're there, yeah. You get there. I don't know why I interrupted you. You get there.
I was like, oh god, what do we need to do now? What kind of saving throw is he throwing at us? As soon as we are in the room, Grant shuts the door, not loudly but quickly, behind. All right, Ruin, I'm sorry to wake you up, but I need to trust you on something really quick. I'm at a loss here. I'm completely. I was gonna say at sea, and that seems like an awful pun, but not. I'm kind of freaking out right now. I need to get to sleep, but I don't know how to. I'm really keyed up, and I don't know what's going on, really. Can you help me with any of this?
Did you get into some moldy bread?
Not that I know of.
You are making no sense right now. You're just
right. Of course I'm not.
Like, I'll pick up my spanner and just be like, "Do you want help going to sleep?"
Going to sleep, yes. I don't like how you're brandishing that. Like,
I mean, like, it's the quickest path. I mean, like A to B. Like you're weirding me out a little bit here.
Oh, I'm sorry that I'm weirding you out a little bit. We're on a ship flying through stars and me having a bit of a panic attack is weirding you out. All right, that follows. Listen,
Make for me, please, Nix. Will you make make an insight check?
18.
Very good. As you sort of get a little more awake throughout this conversation, as annoying as it is, you notice a couple of things. One, you actually do sense a fairly clear sense of like worry and concern in Will's voice. You also notice that like it's weird. It's like as long as you've known Will, you know, he's a very capable person. He's very intelligent. He's a good officer. He's very good at what he does, which is keeping the books. And it's like Will standing in front of you for the first time ever, like has his shoulders back. He has a center of gravity that's stronger and lower than he normally stands. Like his clothes almost look like they fit him slightly different. Like he's standing like someone who's been doing well. You grew up in a mine. Like he looks like someone who has the posture and physical presence of like farm strong miner type person who's like Will is physically imposing in a way that he's never been before. So there's just something almost off-putting about Will having a presence that Will has never had before and sounding genuinely worried and concerned about something.
Look, okay, I get it. It's been a wild few days. Like, it can get to the best of us. I suggest you just hit your bunk, close your eyes, and just do your best to just forget about the weirdness as much as you can. Because it's probably going to get weirder as we go. So best to just kind of, learn to roll with it.
all right.
Just like deep breath, count to 10.
All right. Okay.
Are you sure you didn't eat or drink anything? Like, your mannerisms are off. Like, should you see the ship healer for maybe they've got something?
The bug person, right? No, they came through earlier. I mean, don't get me wrong. Whatever they did felt amazing, but it was no, it didn't. It didn't fix things. All right. This is tried this before. It doesn't tend to work very often or very well, but listen, this all feels like a dream to me right now, and I just want to wake up. I just want to wake up and go back about my life, and I don't know if I can right now. And so going to sleep tends to help with that, but as I said, I don't know if I can. Is there, I don't know, like maybe a drink would help? Is there alcohol somewhere that I could have a drink? Maybe passing out would do it.
Hold on, let me look around. I'll scramble through my workshop to see if I've got like a bottle of degreaser or something.
Oh God.
Nice. We'll say that you can do that. So you guys are sort of standing there in the doorway. You have been handed a bottle of maybe it's ether, maybe it's pot whiskey, maybe it's bathtub gin, maybe it's WD-40. Lockridge, what is your passive perception.
More passive perception is an 11.
Great. Fantastic. If you would, for me, please. Go ahead and take 10 points of damage for me.
I didn't like that.
As you wake up to a stinging, burning sensation in your leg.
Ah!
You see something skitter and dart out the doorway. Ruin, as you hand the bottle of something to Will, over Will's shoulder, you see a large, semi-translucent, bluish-green, 8-legged figure skitter, crackling with plasma, and then phase out of existence. 20 feet later, phase back into existence, skitter halfway up the stairs, and then blink out of existence again. If we can all roll initiative. Maybelline. All right. Can I drag you? I think I can. Maybe I can drag you over. Nope. That's fine.
All right. Now I need to click on me. Where am I?
Yes. There we go. Will, you put yourself in there. How did you do that?
I clicked on my token before I hit roll initiative.
Oh, yep. That's how you do it.
Yeah,
Then.
I can't see my token there.
Oh,
that
will help. That would help if you could. Bloop.
There
Now
it
we should be
is.
able to see our tokens.
Beautiful.
Alrighty. Ruins at a 15. We'll just add a turn at 15.
Oh, I think I need to reload that real quick. Sorry, I'm so slow. Also, I have the new D&D Beyond treasure chest dice. There it goes.
Oh, nice.
Which is where the little like noise is coming from.
The heavy clinking sound.
Yep. I will.
How do I delete somebody from the initiative order once they're in there?
You can just ignore them.
Yep, we'll just ignore Ruin's extra.
All right. What am I gonna do?
Should I move Will to there?
Ooh, astral dice. Let's do that.
Yeah, let's move you guys. No, you don't need to worry about moving yourself quite yet. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Don't worry about that. I am just I am getting something in place where it needs to be. All right. All right, so it looks like we are Why are you not? Oh, Jesus. I added so many bad guys to this turn order than what it was supposed to be. Sorry, folks. Wasn't paying attention to. There are just so many more bad guys than you actually have to deal with. All right, let's fix this. All right. We're gonna close that. Open it back up. Clear the list. Yes. Get rid of that. Add 1. Add 2. 3.
Where is that goddamn?
Add 4. Will's at a 13. Ruin, you're at a 15. And Lockridge, you're at a 17.
All right.
All right, so we find ourselves up on the main deck as you all, let's see. Well, Lockridge, are you planning on doing something other than pursuing the thing that has caused you damage?
No. I am Lockridge is absolutely livid. I mean, even if it wasn't a beastie, someone woke him up from his nap. Hell no.
Exactly.
Hell no.
So we will say that Lockridge, being a little bit closer and a little bit more motivated to do so, Lockridge, you are right at the top of the stairs. You are at the top of the stairs there, and you see about halfway from you the what you recognize as one of these phase spiders from months ago. And there are a number of crewmen who have been waking up with bites or injuries or things like this, and it seems that this thing finally chose the wrong target, or perhaps was going for a larger meal for some other reason. Perhaps it needed the extra nutrients, you're not sure, and took a big chunk out of you. But it is one of these plasma spiders, and it is about 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 some odd feet from you, as its front legs and palps and fangs all rear back, and you can hear it hiss, and you can see this burning plasmatic venom drip from its fangs. And with a 17, Lockridge, you are up first.
Nice. But no, I know exactly what's going on here. This thing just straight up woke up and did not choose life. Like that's just what's happened here.
And that's what happened. I will say, given the way things are going, and the story that's been thus far, it makes sense, Will, that you are still wearing what you wear day to day. But Ruin and Lockridge were dead asleep, so you can have grabbed your weapons. But Ruin and Lockridge, you are not armored. So on your D&D Beyond, make sure to go in and click to take off your armor so that your armor class adjusts appropriately for this fight.
So on that point, Will pretty much always has mage armor up. I assume
Yes.
that Grant does not, since Grant does not have access to mage armor, no longer has mage armor up.
That is correct.
Cool.
So Grant has the armor class and the equipment that is listed on that thing, and sort of as we talked about, Grant will find a reason to grab some different equipment, but you can narrate that story-wise, and we'll see if people pick up on it.
Yeah.
Right.
Probably doesn't have the armor on though.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Lockridge his armor adjustment is now 50.
Okay. You're up.
Oh, it's me?
Yep. Lockridge is at 17. You're up first. Ruin is on deck.
All right. Lockridge comes up onto deck, seeing the skittering arachnid swear word. I am going to make this nice and easy. I'm going to use my blunderbuss. Now let me just check here. Okay. There we go. Okay. Now, do I get a second attack at this level? I don't. Not level 4.
I do not believe
No,
so.
that'd be much higher. All right, here we go. Boom. That is a 17.
Ooh. 17 will hit. Go ahead and roll damage. Damage.
All right.
Roll that Joe DiMaggio.
Okay, so that is 13 with my Astral Spark becomes a 15.
Big oof. Okay.
All right.
And will we be action surging as usual, or
well, it depends on how it looks.
Looks like a big shot spider.
All right, well, that's gonna be a. It's not a big dead spider. Then it's gonna definitely be an action surge right here, and
yeah, you shoot it, and it like clicks its mandibles menacingly and fixes its number of very beady eyes on you.
All right, as it does, because I can reload as a free action, I'm just gonna flavor this as Lockridge looks at this thing, and he just stares at it. There's like kind of this scrunched up growl on his big hippopotamus face as he pulls out his his gunpowder like pouch. And then as I pack it
the
down,
spider makes a cup of tea.
All right, I'm gonna use Violent Shot, burning my grit.
Ooh. Okay.
That is a 25 to hit his face.
Very nice. Yeah, the 17 hits, so that one definitely does.
All right, so I let's see. I gain additional weapon dice, which will be, let me get this here. All right, plus. That's okay. So that was 23 points of damage.
23 points of damage.
Plus Astral Spark.
Wow.
Which I'm going to do anyway, even regardless of the result, and make it 25 damage. As there's just this cacophonic.
Yeah, so you like overload the blunderbuss. Yeah, I mean, this thing, huge chunks of its shell and the plasma go flying off and start burning little singes all over the deck, and you hear it wail and sort of lose its footing on two of its legs before it stands itself back up. It does not like it at all. You do have movement.
I do. Nah, I'm good. I'm just gonna chill. Maybe over here. Just asking for a friend. Do the ship's cannons point inwards if you want them to?
So like rule-wise, they kind of can all point wherever they need them to. Firing the cannon towards the main body of the ship would do catastrophic damage to the ship.
Fine. All right, I'm done. Ruin can fix it.
Yeah, Ruin will fix it. With your movement, the spider takes a held action and a spray of this plasma awfulness. That's very difficult to see. Hold on a second. Just the spray of plasma webbing goes out across the deck, making this area in front of you guys sticky and flaming. It will act as difficult terrain, and upon entering it, looks like it'd probably be a little bit burny. Ruin, that takes us to you.
Okay, so we've got a wall of webby fire.
Yes.
Can it be fired through?
You don't see why not. I mean, you think so.
Okay. So as I get to the top of the stairs and see the firebug take a couple of rounds, I'm going to cast Firebolt.
Okay. Yep. We'll move you up to the top of the stairs there. Go ahead and cast that.
To hit.
That'll hit.
Natural 20, 25 total.
Natural 20. Yeah, go ahead. Roll that beautiful bean footage. Double the dice roll.
Rolled a 7.
All right, so that'll do. So that would do 14. However, as the flame hits it, it seems to not harm it nearly as much as you would hope, especially for that extra big ball of flame that you got compared to what you normally would get. But it certainly splashes this sort of magical fire across its plasma fire back carapace as it sort of turns to absorb it. And I mean, it doesn't like it, but it doesn't seem to do quite as much damage.
Copy that.
Some move turn bonus action.
Let's see, where am I at? Nope, I've moved to where I want to be. Now okay. I am good.
Grant.
Okay. As we were all rushing upstairs, it looks like right next to Ruin's workshop, there's an armory type room. And just sort of at a glance, just seems to assess what's in there and grabs a couple weapons before.
Yeah, we'll say for flavor, you guys notice Will do this that he's never done before as you guys are rushing and chasing after this thing. What do you grab?
Yep. Grabs a short bow and a pair of hand axes.
All right, so he runs in, grabs a bow and some hand axes. This guy that normally that is not what he uses.
Nope. I don't think either of you have ever seen Will use a weapon before.
Actually, I don't. No, you haven't. You've usually done damage with armor or agathis.
I think the only time I've ever seen Will fight was back on the dock.
Yeah,
in session zero.
And when the spiders first showed up, but that was all.
No, but remember during the spider thing, I jumped overboard.
Oh yeah.
So you didn't.
Yeah, I haven't actually seen. I've never seen Will.
So yeah, you grab these, and we'll say you guys do clock that. You rush up to the top of the stairs. You see this webbing.
Yeah, and I guess Lockridge, especially as like a trained fighter, like as Will rounds the corner, you see a very quick assessment of the deck, which is seems practiced, and as walking up the steps, just very smoothly with perfect form, draws an arrow and is going to fire an arrow. And just gonna double check that I read something right before I say this. That's the wrong character sheet.
Funny how that works. Do you still have the link for Grant?
Yeah. Gonna fire using sharpshooter.
Okay.
Uh, 15 hit.
A 15 will hit.
All right. So there is need to roll D6. Why are you not letting me roll damage?
The damage would be in the box that says damage with the little like bullet next to it. 1d6 plus 2.
Yes, but it's not giving me the die to roll that.
Click on features and traits.
Features and traits.
That should have updated it, should have loaded it to the VTT, and then if you click back to actions and try clicking on it again.
Let's just Well, I was gonna action surge anyway, so that could be my second attack if you're okay with that.
Well, let's take care of the damage.
All right. I mean, I can just roll it on. Do this.
There we go.
Okay, so base of 2 plus 12 for sharpshooter. So 14 damage.
Okay, yeah. This creature now has this arrow stuck like right between where like its head and its body um meets, and you can't tell if it's blood or it's venom, but there's this burning sticky ooze that's pouring out of it, burning into the wood. Nasty, nasty, nasty.
Can I keep that second attack roll, or should I re-roll it?
Let's. You know what? For the fun of it, for the storytelling of what happens, sure. Let's go ahead and keep that. Fire your second arrow.
Damage on the second one. 5 doubles to 10 plus 12 is 22 damage.
Oof.
So 14 and then 22 for a total of 36. As Grant, Grant, sort of stalks forward very smoothly drawing and releasing arrows with a speed that is very practiced it's sort of like, as was described to Rowan earlier, kind of unsettling in how different it is from just body language wise, anything you've ever seen of them.
Absolutely. This thing is looking sort of on death's door. It spills this burning goo, and you can see sort of the like rolling waves of plasma sort of sloughing and falling off of it. There's less of the burning magical fire on its back. As it skitters backwards, losing its footing here and there, keeping its face towards you until it makes it all the way back to the helm, and then at that point it turns around and skitters and throws its body into the double doors, shattering some of the glass and bursting both doors open, and falls burning into the captain's quarters, and you lose sight of it. Lockridge, that takes us to you. It didn't attack. It used all of its movement to get the hell away from you.
All right. So did it look like it's gone downstairs?
No. It burst through the doors into the captain's quarters.
Okay. So because it's a phase spider, I was just like wondering if it was like going that way or like.
Well, you don't see it, so you don't know.
Okay.
But from the previous fight, you never saw it phase like through a solid surface.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna wait. So if it bursts through the door, can I still see it through the door?
No.
Okay.
No, none of you have eyes on the spider right now. But from the previous fight, it would phase and bamf around the battlefield, but it never like phased from the top deck to the lower deck.
Okay.
You don't think it can phase like through the ground.
Okay. So I'm going to use my first action to move to here through the flaming webs.
Sweet. Make a dexterity save for me, please.
All right. Here we go. Dex save! That is a 15.
Okay, so you will take half of 3. So,
actually, here's a quick question for you, just Michael logic here. Would I be able to, like, if I were to move through it, does that clear any of the fire out? So if I were to use myself as like a body shield for Ruin and Will,
this stuff like sticks to the in place.
Okay.
But you take 1 point of fire damage as it burns as you barrel through.
All right. As that happens, you watch as Lockridge emerges from the fire. He kind of like peers over his shoulder and just goes, And I'm going to use my second wind to, like, blow out some fire. And I heal 7 hit points.
Nice.
Lockridge, so I still can't see the creature from here?
No.
10, 20, 30. I'm going to use my action to then just move again and call it a day.
Okay.
Right there.
Sounds good. Ruin, that takes us to you.
I am. So there's no path through the fire. It just kind of like closes behind.
Yeah, because it's kind of coming from this sticky web that has stuck to the ground, so it's not like he stomps it out as it goes or anything like that. But he seemed to go through it just fine.
Yeah. I'm gonna cast jump on myself and see if I can launch myself over the fire.
Okay. What height does it take you to?
You touch a creature's
Is
jump distance is tripled.
Okay.
Let's see how far.
So I mean, how far does an average human jump vertically? What is the vertical jump of a human in D&D?
Launch myself through the air bubble.
Absolutely. So you can jump 3 feet plus 1 foot times your modifier of your strength vertically. I mean, so yeah, I'm going to say that you totally clear that and will take no damage. Make a dex check for me, please. Because you cast jump, you didn't cast land. I love it though. That's awesome.
That is a 15.
Okay, yeah, you land on the other side of it. You sort of roll, you pop up, you go parkour, and you take no extra damage.
Superhero pose.
And we'll say that you have all of your forward movement range from where you are standing now.
Then I will use all of my movement and get as fast as I can towards the captain's quarters.
Alrighty. That should get you just on the other side of the wheel. You got a 30-foot range?
Yes.
You should. Yes. All right. There's your action. Action and movement. Will.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, hunting beasties, that's something that Grant understands. Just sprint straight through. I assume dex save?
Yep. Make a dex save for me, please.
11.
11. I will need you to take a 5 points, as quite a bit of it kind of gets stuck on your pants and everything as you go.
All right. Quick question. Is my hit point maximum different?
Is your hit points? Your hit point max is 34.
Okay.
Which
cool.
I do believe is different.
It is.
I can change that.
It's all right.
I can adjust that for you. There you go. You're updated.
Woo.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, and as seeing the close quarters inside, as Grant runs, shoulders the bow and takes a hand axe in each hand.
Okay. Through the open doorway, you see the spider skitter across the open doorway to the other side of the cabin and lose sight of it. You do, however, because all of you have been in there, you do realize that you do know that the side it has moved to is the side where the captain's bunk is.
I don't know that.
Grant doesn't know that. Okay. Lockridge, that takes us to you.
Lockridge barrels through, believing that maybe the captain is in danger. I'm going to.
So I'm gonna say this just for a little bit of narrative. I assume we're all going in to chase this thing / save the captain. Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So I'm going to just place us in the room, and anywhere in these first few areas, feel free to move yourself if you would like to be in a different bit of in a different position. So let's go ahead and do that. Lockridge, if you like where you are, if you'd rather be on a different side, we'll do that, and then we'll take this next turn order. So, you gained like 4 feet of movement. If somebody's really mad, I'm sure they'll say so in the chat.
Yeah, no, I'm good. Okay.
Cool.
I'm going to move to here and make an athletics check to basically try and suplex the spider, grabbing my arms around it and basically just and flipping it back. And the idea is I want to literally put him through the table.
Nice. I dig that so much. Give me 1 second to figure something out before we do that.
And then Will should come in like...
All right. Nice.
You might be the face, but you can't see me.
Cool. So, as you rush towards this thing, and as you're in here, as we look at the map, so there's the sort of a raised area where there's a desk and there's a bed. And in fact, Captain Lockjaw is sleeping in his bed. This phase spider sort of backed up almost close to where the captain is. The captain starts to sort of stir at the noise of what's going on. What is it you think is going on in here? And from the space, from the air, as you start to close in, above the captain's head, you just see a pair of teeth, not like pointy monster teeth, but like human incisor teeth that are just, there's no lips, just floating mouth, bulbous mouth, clamps onto the back of this spider, and 2 other mouths, like where the cheeks should be, appear in space, and they all start chewing. Just these connected, lipless mouths covered in this green, gray skin. Yellow eyes asymmetrically start to appear above it. Green and pink tentacles form in the air as this gigantic green and gray and yellow odd creature floating in the air above the captain with 2 strange pink tentacles, ethereal. They're not solid, but they ethereally connect to the captain as this strange floating cosmic horror appears in the air, and its mouth chews and chomps and bites this spider in half before you are able to reach it. The spider is gone as this creature devours, biting it in half and slurping it up. Tucker.
I think we wandered into a Call of Cthulhu game.
You very much wandered into a Call of Cthulhu game.
I don't see where the sanity check is on my character sheet, and I'm concerned. I have some concerns.
Much concern. So Lockridge, you've used a few of your movement, but since your action was interrupted, I will say you can adjust your action along the way. The target that was there is gone, but please feel free to use a bonus action or a reaction at this point. The action you took is sort of forfeited for this first round just because it got edited, but I'll give you a bonus or I'll give you a reaction for free here.
Does just screaming in abject horror count as a reaction? Can I just yeah. Yeah.
Screaming and crying is always a free action for me.
Excellent. Okay, so just to for my own head to know where we're at. We were sleeping soundly in our beds, and I was asleep. I was, perfectly fine. Then a spider, a giant phase spider from episode 1, shows up, bites me on the leg, rushes out on deck, sets fire to the deck with flaming webbing, runs for our captain, only to be devoured by a cosmic horror from beyond the imagining scopes, who is just, chilling above our captain.
And ethereally connected. Yeah, you got it.
All right.
Yeah, you
cool.
got it. Yeah, same page. Samesies.
You know what? Lockridge is gonna go. Alright, well, look. I'll get paid for many things, alright? But one of them is definitely not dealing with whatever the hell's going on here, Captain. Alright, you enjoy yourself and you and your lovely friend. I'm terribly sorry for interrupting, okay? And, it's almost like you're walking in on your parents in an intimate moment. Lockridge is gonna leave. I am out of here.
You take your movement. That's great.
Hell no.
That's fantastic.
Just nope. I'm sorry. There's just all sorts of things happening here that I did not want to be a part of. Alright, I have a gun. You give me something to shoot, I'm helpful. Alright?
Of all the things I expected, that was not one of them. Oh, lovely. Ruin, that takes us to you.
Ellen's gonna have some feelings if we all just quietly leave and close the door behind us.
Oh, true.
Is this thing seem solid in any way? Or is it all just wispy and ethereal?
The majority of its body, especially its teeth, which you just saw it use, seems very solid indeed. But they're like the ends of its tentacles are slightly ethereal, and the two that are sort of they're not like wrapped around. They almost look like they're plunging into the captain are ethereal.
Oh, F this. We've already had one captain get eaten. If a second one gets eaten, they might put me in charge. And I am going to cast Catapult, and something 5 pounds within range is going to get hurled at this thing's face. And it needs to make a...
roll the attack. You throw the captain's like mahogany, zebra wood, and leather chair goes flinging at this creature that hovers slightly above and behind it. Go ahead and make the attack roll.
It needs to make a dex check. 13.
Oh, it makes a dex. Okay. With a 14, yeah, we'll say that it it collides with it, but there's something about this. It's solid, but there's something about this thing's anatomy that you don't understand, that it's just kind of, it doesn't react. Like what you hit didn't bother it.
Okay, so
or does it take?
When the object says on a failed save, the object strikes the target and stops moving. When the object strikes something, the object and what it strikes each take 3d8 bludgeoning damage.
On a failed check. Oh, but on a pass check. Oh, there's no half damage.
Yeah, it says on a failed save, the object strikes the target and stops moving. When the object strikes something, the object and what strikes each takes, so the chair takes damage too.
Yeah, we'll say that the chair just sort of shatters as it slams into. I'm just for flavor wise saying this thing didn't care about getting hit.
Okay,
but it passed the check.
Okay.
By one.
Let's say the way this does it still take the 3d8?
No.
Okay.
It passed.
For future reference.
Yeah, if it would have failed, it would have taken it. But since it passed, it just takes none.
All right. Well, at least we know it can get hit with something.
Indeed. Yeah. And like, so like 2 of its eyes are on Lockridge, 3 of its eyes are on Ruin, 4 eyes sort of shift and look at Grant, who is up.
Does Lockjaw seem to be sleeping through this, or like be restrained by this thing at all, or what does Lockjaw do?
So Lockjaw is like looking at the 3 of you, and seems to be wondering what the hell you're doing in his room. But he's groggy. And to you, Grant, he looks like he might be a little like drunk. He's sort of just not quite all there. You don't know if he's punch drunk. You don't know if it's this thing. You don't know if he's been drinking. You don't know if he's still tired. You're not really sure what it is yet.
All right. So seeing this thing, this fight went from spider, weird spider, but spider, which Grant gets, to whatever the fuck this thing is. And there's a moment where he sort of rocks back towards the door and then seems to take in the situation again and see the, in a vulnerable position, captain, and is gonna move forward and take a couple swings.
Great. Yeah, go ahead and close that. You take a couple swings with your
this
axes.
is such a bad idea, but this seems like the kind of thing that someone who was being somewhat heroic would be doing. 20?
20, I believe that hits. Gosh, I hope it hits. Oh yeah, you hit.
Me too. Still, I think that, so by the way, I think I figured out I'm not the owner of the character sheet, so that's why it's not letting me roll damage on it.
Oh, that's strange. I can roll your damages, though.
Okay, yeah, if you want to. So that's a hand axe.
All right, that's 5.
Cool. And then offhand, another hand axe swing.
All right.
I'm guessing a 12 probably doesn't hit, though.
A 12 will miss.
Yes.
Yeah, so your second hand axe, it makes contact with like the sort of translucent end of one of its thick green tentacles and just passes through it.
Does the first hit seem to connect in a way that bothers the creature?
Oh, it didn't no, it screeches and the axe sticks in it. You pull it out and there's this gray, noxious odored blood that starts thick, almost like it's already congealed, starts dripping out of it.
All right, and so Grant sort of has choked up on both the hand axes a bit, so they're almost more like knuckle swings as sort of getting used to this.
Oh yeah.
How this thing is. And after the second swing, just, Captain, get out of the way. Just trying to get Lockjaw away from this thing, trying to buy a bit of room.
Okay.
Could I just take a quick moment here? Right, I just want to point out, alright, we live in space on a ship where the person who prepares our food is a half woman, half spider. I think assuming that because it's got multiple eyes and lots of little tendrils and stuff like that, that it happens to be evil and just randomly attack it without asking questions is a little presumptuous and could get us in a lot of trouble if we have just interrupted intimacy with the captain, who didn't seem particularly perturbed about this creature, but mostly about the spider. Just saying, okay?
Will would absolutely agree with you.
Will would agree with you.
That's true.
Well, fun enough, it is Lockjaw's turn, and Lockjaw turns to you and says, don't you know a man who's getting his rocks up? No,
I told you.
No, actually, so Lockjaw turns. All 3 of you, please make a perception check.
Oh, actually.
15, 18, and 21. Absolutely fantastic. So this is actually great. So Grant and Lockridge, it certainly seems to you like the captain is ignoring this creature. As Captain turns to talk to Lockridge. Ruin, the captain is not aware of this creature. Where you're standing, you can see the captain's eye line. The captain's looking through this thing. The captain doesn't feel it. The captain doesn't know that this thing is there, despite the fact that you guys can all see it, and Will just chopped into it. The captain turns and says, "Well, Lockridge, I always figured that you'd go too far one of these days and we'd have to throw you overboard for it. But I'll be damned if I figured it'd be cowardice that sends you out of these quarters."
Wait, what? What am I getting called out?
That takes us... that takes us to the creature. So, the creature, having just been hit, will... Actually, hold on, let's look at this. How is he doing this? Yes. The creature will, having just been hit, wrap one of its tentacles around Grant, or at least will try to. That's a 19 and a 19.
Oh, yeah, that hits.
That hits. So the thing's tentacles wrap, and the tentacles are covered in like barbs and suckers, and you're bracing for the feeling of like constriction and ripping of flesh. And instead, what you feel is shards of pain spike into your mind as you take 12 points of psychic damage.
Ow. Okay.
And it will use one of its legendary actions.
Oh, shit.
To focus all of its eyes on the largest thing in the room, Lockridge. Lockridge, I need you to please make a wisdom saving throw.
That entirely depends on what I roll now, isn't it? Okay, I'd like to make the roll too, but I guess we'll see. That's a 14.
With a 14, you feel shards of, it's cold ice and needles and stinging pain as you take 23 points of psychic damage into the base of your skull and mind as all of its eyes focus on you. And and you just wince at all of it. Its eyes flare and then dull back down as the pain starts to subside.
All right.
Lockridge, that is your turn.
All right. Lockridge, as this psychic energy sort of hits him, like blood begins to kind of pool out of the front of his nose and muzzle as he kind of snots this big glob of congealed blood like out of his sinuses. He delicious, right? Aren't you glad I'm a storyteller?
Yeah, nice.
Okay,
good.
Now,
good. I approve.
Now the tendrils are the sort of quasi-phasing thing that's touching the captain, right? But the body is like real.
Its body seems pretty solid. Yes.
All right. All right. This is the way we're gonna do it. Call me a coward, will you? I'm gonna open the little chest cabinet that's behind me.
Okay.
I'm gonna grab it by the back of its skull and just and just try and jam it into that thing.
Okay, so we'll flavor that as an unarmed attack.
Certainly. Could I potentially petition as a kind of shove-ish attack that I could use my athletics in place of my unarmed strike? For no other reason than I get advantage. It's still the same. It's still the same score of a +3 to hit.
I'll say that the idea of a shove means you need to have like the weight behind it as opposed to your pulling. Let's just make it the unarmed strike.
Okay.
But I like the cut of your jib.
All right, let's do it. Can I add anything to this? No. All right. Here we go. Oh, that's a 9, sadly.
Yeah, you go to grab it, and this thing is it's like grabbing, it's solid, and then your fingers start to sink into it, and then your hand just passes through it, and it's like pushing through like paste. It's so thick, and you're trying desperately to grab onto it, and then you pass through, and then it solidifies again, and its teeth, it seems to smile as its teeth just chatter at you.
There.
Ruin.
As its teeth sit there chattering, I'm gonna just throw my lucky spanner at its face while it's distracted with that.
Absolutely.
Rolling to hit. Real. My lucky
6.
spanner.
Yeah, it just it smashes into the wall just to the left of the captain, and Captain looks at it and looks at you and goes, et tu, Ruin, et tu.
Alright, I'm getting mixed messages. You want us to hit this thing or you don't, alright? Either I'm a coward for leaving, or he is, betraying you because he's attacking it. Pick a line!
Any movement, Ruin?
I will just move up a couple to get closer. And
your spanner flies back to your hand.
Yeah, and then just prepare for what's coming next.
Alrighty. Grant.
I will clench.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just saying, I will clench.
Clench. Grant. The only one to land a hit on it so far.
Am I grappled or...
No, it wrapped its tentacles. You feel that in your mind, and then its tentacles sort of just phase through and then become corporeal again.
Cool. Oh, boy. Well, to start, I think that Grant's gonna just sort of take a breath to steady himself, and second wind, heal for 9.
Nice.
That's a little healthier.
Okay.
And seeing Lockridge bleeding out of his face, just swings a hand over and tags him on the chest and is going to cast Cure Wounds.
With no rolls, Will has never done this type of magic before. This isn't the style of magic Will has.
Again, I've never seen Will do anything.
Nice. So that gets 7 more.
Yep, 7 back to Lockridge.
Thank you.
7 back to Lockridge. I got you. I got it taken care of. Okay. Bonus action.
Bonus action was second wind.
What's second wind? Okay.
And just looks over at Lockridge as wounds close up. Says, "All right, we'll get this."
Okay. With that, it is we move to Lockjaw, and And Lockjaw looks at you, Grant, and says, well, Mr. Will, it looks like somebody's finally found their spine. And that will be Lockjaw's turn. That takes us to the creature. Who disappears. One moment, please. You hear behind you the shifting of armor as you see a man who, elderly, although elderly doesn't really mean as much for a race that doesn't age and can live forever. But you see an elderly from the time that they have spent outside of the Astral Sea, Githyanki. Elderly Githyank man. Armed and armored. Who stands with his arms crossed. And sort of twirls a coin in one hand and speaks. Do any of you speak Githyank?
Oh.
Who speaks something, and you see Lockjaw shrivel. Not like physically like a rape, but like when like a child who has been chastised by a parent and it matters. You see Lockjaw just shrink and lean against the side of the wall. He'd been standing on his bed, leans against the back of the wall and just, are you okay, Tucker?
Yep, no, my chair just made a noise and shifted in a way I wasn't expecting. You're good.
Okay. He slides down his wall and hugs his knees and replies in Githyank as well. And as he's replying, you see the almost in one action, the man flips the coin up in the air, and as everybody's eyes just instinctually sort of dart to the coin, from inside of his coat, he throws a dagger. And
Captain Lockjaw is killed.
Sorry, he doesn't throw a dagger. He produces a flintlock pistol.
Oh, that's better.
Yeah.
And it blows a hole in the side of the wall, the side of the hull, inches away from the captain's shoulder. And the captain just flinches and hugs himself tighter.
Lockridge is gonna thump that dude.
He drops the pistol and draws a rapier, which will take us to the top of Lockridge's turn. So yeah, Lockridge, you close.
Yeah,
Grant is so confused.
I'm gonna close, and I'm going to disarm his rapier.
Okay, so a disarming attack?
Yes.
Is that an attack on your end or a save on mine?
Good question. I'm not Googling things because it's quicker.
That's fine. While you Google that, you guys notice as he draws his rapier, it sheds a cool blue moonlight that fills the room. And as you get closer to him, Lockridge, he wears a chainmail vest and a chainmail shirt and like pants that give off the smell of like burning wood and smoke, and the chain itself lightly sends wafts of smoke into the air around him.
All right. It is a strength or dex check of the choice.
Of my choice?
Yeah. No, player choice. But
okay. So yeah.
And it is opposed. So
Okay.
I'm going to go with a dex check and try to use finesse to try and disarm this individual.
Nice.
Oh, that's a 10.
You've got a 10 against his opposed. I mean, we'll see what it is. That would be a natural 20. So
yep.
As you go, I'm gonna say this on a natural 20. As you go to do that, he just spins the rapier around your hand a couple of times and like whaps you on the wrist, and you take 1 point of damage. He wasn't hurting you; he was telling you to stop.
Yeah, no, Lockridge is a big blunt instrument. He's attacking the captain. He receives the message that this guy is tougher than he gave him credit for. But that just means Lockridge is doubling down. Not now though. But
Sweet.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's all I've got.
Ruin.
Watching all of this happen, can I just? I'm going to hold my ground. Can I just? All right, what in the hells is going on? And can I ready a spell?
Ooh,
like a hold a spell just in
yes.
case.
Yeah. What spell are you holding?
I am gonna thunder wave the shit out of this entire room.
Okay. You have that readied. Absolutely. Make a persuasion check.
I should wear my glasses while I do this. There it is. That is a 12.
That's good enough. All I needed was a 10. You say that this arcane power sort of crystallizes but doesn't form all the way in your hand. You say, what the hell is it that's going on? And in common, this Gith Yank says, just look at this, drunk, sallow, disappointed. And you hear Lockjaw whimper, Papa, please, not here. For your lovely roll on that. That's what you get out of there. You have that readied to go whenever you want to say so. Just chime in. But Grant, that'll take us to you.
Grant is so confused. Like on so many levels. Like more levels than I think he thought he could be confused.
That's fair.
I think instinctually just takes a step down, interposing himself between the captain who we had one brief positive interaction with and then one very confusing negative interaction with. And the person who just shot at the captain, who the captain's referring to as Papa. I think that interpose himself there with a hand still loosely holding one of the hand axes held up in kind of a hold gesture towards what he doesn't know is a Gith Yankee, but I guess is a Gith Yankee on the other side of the room. And for his action is just going to make, I don't know if it's a perception check or an insight check, is going to try and tell if Lockjaw is still, if this creature is still controlling Lockjaw or feeding off Lockjaw, whatever that situation was.
Make either an arcane or an animal handling check.
Go with animal handling, I suppose. 8.
I mean, you don't see it.
All right. Yeah, no, I mean that's Grant's action, sort of looking to Ruin and Lockridge for guidance on what to do next. Like completely lost.
Absolutely. Dig it, love it. Like it, love it, gotta have it. That sounds awesome to me. We will do on the captain's turn. The captain's sort of like you hear the captain sort of swallow and start to growl a little bit, and the captain gets up and sort of like rushing off of the bed, pushes past you, Grant, and runs it up to this Gith Yankee. And as the captain goes, he picks up the pistol and tries to fire it at the thing, but it's a flintlock, so it just clicks and clicks and clicks, and with like tears in his eyes, Lockjaw will Lockjaw will cast Thunderwave, and casts it in a way that just catches the Gith Yank. The books go flying all over the place, papers, utensils, cups and bottles and all of that kind of stuff go flying. As
that goes off, can I set mine off in succession?
Absolutely. Go ahead and if you're doing that, he's gonna just roll his Constitution saves back to back. So the first one for the captains, he fails, and the second one for yours, I'm gonna say a 4 fails. I'm guessing. So 8 takes 11 points of damage from the captain's thunder wave and takes 9 points of damage. So for 20 points of damage as this thunder wave just slams into this tall, armored, well armored, like wealthy, the kind of things this guy is wearing. As it slams into him and is shoved into the back cabin wall and just slams into the bookcase, sending books flying even more and cracking into the wood of the bookcase. That is the captain's turn. That takes us to the Gith Yanks, who takes a second, sort of clears his head, and steps forward.
Now, with 2 successive thunder waves going off, does that alert any of the rest of the crew that some shenanigans are happening?
I mean, it's loud as all hell. You guys are in the captain's quarters, so you have no way of knowing what's going on below deck, but it was very, very loud, yes.
Okay.
The creature takes a couple steps forward, pulls that rapier back to attack the captain with a 13, I believe. Yep, manages to just kind of perforate the captain. As just slashes and stabs and pokes. And Captain Lockjaw is immediately. Let's double check all of this. Looks very, very bad. Slashed and gashed and bruised and bloodied. Looks very, very rough. Lockridge, that takes us to you.
All right. I was trying to do this quietly and like try to take him alive, but nope. Using one hand, I swing back Delilah back into a two-handed grip, and I'm going to blunderbuss this dude square in the face.
All right, go for it.
That is a natural 20.
Oh my God, this is not going to go well for him, I don't think.
That didn't roll my crit, but oh my God. Pathetic crit. That is 19 points of damage. As that swings.
Do you get to pump anything else into it?
I do not. I've pumped everything into that spider from earlier. So I'm just gonna swing that up, and as I do, I'm just gonna kind of like. It's kind of like I'm. It doesn't help that much. And by the way, you know how firearms work and stuff. But as he swings it, he's gonna try and use that curved momentum to just launch that buckshot just in that direction as he just fires that off.
Both this Gith and Lockjaw look equally on death's door. He's looking rough. He's barely holding it together. Ruin, that takes us to you.
Super quick, Diablo Bob
did you have more? Sorry, go.
Just redeemed an insight bonus, so we get a useful or helpful piece of information pertaining to stuff going on.
Okay, let's take care of that real quick. Grant, you have spent a lot of time in the woods. You spent a lot of time in the forest, around game. You're a hunter. You know when there is a hidden predator that is still hunting you. That thing is in this room. That thing disappeared. That thing never moved. You know it's there, and you know that it's still in this room. You know it's still right behind you. It never moved when it turned invisible.
Okay.
Now, mechanically, just so we all know, you can attack an invisible creature, you just have disadvantage on the attack.
Yep.
So that is there we go. You way to who donated that, because that was some clutch information to get in this moment. Ruin, this Githyank is on death's door. What would you like to do?
I am gonna crack off a firebolt.
Nice. Go for it.
12.
12 points of damage?
No, 12 to hit.
Oh, 12 to hit. 12 will not hit. As he is sort of doubled over, he sees the incantation and he just sort of slides to the side, and it bursts against the wall behind him. Bonus action?
Nothing major that I can do.
All right.
I will just hold my ground.
Okay. All right. So, Grant, you know where the thing is. You also see how rough that Githyank creature is. Up to you.
All right. Grant, I mean, everyone's focused away from Grant, so they don't really see, but there's a definite freeze, sort of slight glance behind it. All right, guys, that thing's still here. We're not out of this yet. And is going. He heard Lockjaw call this Githyanki dad, and even not. He's gonna cast Entangle, hitting the Githyanki. Okay. So that's a strength saving throw.
A strength saving throw.
I believe so. Let me double check really quick. Entangle is a strength saving throw.
14.
That beats it.
Okay,
So,
yeah, these vines try to wrap up and grab onto it, but just sort of the vines slide off of how slick it is in its own blood, and it is not entangled.
So the area sort of starting at the Githyanki and sort of that corner of the captain's quarters is difficult terrain now, but they are not restrained or anything. And Will is going to turn their back to the Githyanki and back away. The thing might take a swing at him, but he's going to take a step away from where he knows the creature is.
Okay. Nothing happens as you walk away.
All right.
That takes us to Lockjaw, and Lockjaw grabs. Lockjaw will grab their scimitar and take a swing at the Yankee. Misses. Just the wounds that the captain has are too much for him, and the Githyanki just sort of evades it, and as he misses, the Githyanki says to Lockjaw, "I told your mother we should have left you on the ship where we found you. All your life, never should have taken you in."
Can I free action speak?
Yeah.
Grant, something sort of seems to click for Grant. Guys, do you think that guy is a manifestation of that other thing that was attacking us earlier? Because it's talking a lot like Lockjaw was.
All right, so you say that out. You say that out loud. That is fantastic. Absolutely love it. Then the creature looks at you, Grant, looks at Will, looks at the person who just spoke, and you see just the slightest bit of smile on its lips as it pulls the rapier back and plunges it straight into the captain's heart, and the blade comes out the other side. Lockjaw is dying. Lockridge, that's your turn.
Doesn't look fake to me. I'm gonna shoot it in the face. I mean, am I right?
Do whatever you want.
I mean, even if right, this creature is a manifestation, it just stabbed the captain.
Yeah, no, that's legit.
All right, that is a 23 to hit this guy.
That hits.
That is 15 points of explosion damage.
You unload, and as the buckshot hits this thing, it just, in wisp and smoke, it is gone. But not in blood and guts and chunks of flesh. It's just gone in a wisp of bluish or greenish gray smoke. Lockridge, you glance down and do see that Lockjaw sort of opens an eye and looks at where that Githyank was, and sort of smiles and closes his eyes, but is breathing,
All right.
and just seems to be taking a second to rest on the floor. And you all hear a screech, otherworldly, discordant, multiple vocal cords scream and screech, coming from the area just above the bed where the captain was, where this creature had been, as it sort of bursts into visibility again for a second with its arms flailing, and it hits the ground, and it seems to be coming in and out of corporeal nature. Wounds that you delivered to the Githyanki, you see those same wounds on this creature, as it gurgles and burbles and just collapses and dies on the floor. At which point, we will say, at which point, Lockridge, you sit up straight in your bed and grab at your leg, and there's nothing there. And Ruin, you glance over. Ruin is on the bottom bunk. You glance over, and Will, who has been acting strange but seems to have finally gotten to sleep, is in the top bunk. You're in a cold sweat, and you don't know if this is just one of those, if this was just a fever dream from all of things that's been happening. You don't know if this is just a weird PTSD dream from the wars, but everything seems to be as it should be. And I'm going to sort of sunset this a little bit as
just slightly before,
as Lockridge,
slightly before the sunset, to make sure that he's awake.
Sure.
Lockridge is going to take a small dagger from out of his boot and stab himself in the leg.
Take 1 point of damage, and it hurts.
All right. Cool. Carry on.
Yep. As Lockridge does that, and sort of settles back in, even if you can't necessarily, you'll try to fall asleep, or at least rest until the watch comes along. You're there. Two things happen. One, Grant, as you fade off to sleep, this horrible dream, knowing you'll wake back up with your family, you hear a voice in your head. A voice you've never heard before, as it says, "Oh my. Oh, this has just gotten so incredibly interesting, hasn't it, my little Will?" Or, "Oh, no, that's not you, is it? I think it would be so much more fun if you stay you and aren't him for just a little longer. But go to sleep, my little boy," as you drift off to sleep. Because you need sleep. What the players do not see is floating, invisible, much smaller than the ones Lockjaw faced in his dream, is a tiny little eldritch fear with its invisible, incorporeal tendrils feeding off of all three of them as they toss and turn, having nightmares of their own. But that's where we'll pick up next week on the Flight of the Northwest.